the 4th of June. Just come up to 7 o'clock in the morning. I decided to go out early because it's so hot at the moment. There's the backside of the castle. So I'm going for a longer run today in Limburg. I'm gonna basically run into the Meinweg National Park and up to the German border, and then run along that, then come back. Fairly simple loop, but it's obviously an area I haven't seen before, so quite excited really. So there you can see the morning, a little bit misty, about 16 degrees, due to get up to I think 28 again, but I want to avoid that. Okay, so I'm into the Meinweg National Park now, properly into the woods. So I've got about a 3 kilometre climb now. Now normally I wouldn't talk about climbing in Netherlands, but I'm quite excited to actually get up to an altitude allegedly up here of 90 metres above sea level. Now if anybody knows the Netherlands, that's pretty unheard of until you get right in the south of Limburg towards Maastricht, where you do get the hills and the mountains that border Belgium. So 90 metres is quite something. Normally when I say, for example, the Clarendon half marathon, so that's 21 kilometres, 13 miles, total climbing is about 100 metres. So at any particular climb they're no more than about 10 metres, so it's quite a climb. Anyway, I think it's about 3k on this ascent. So far it seems quite gradual, and rather pleasant morning, if a bit humid, so the humidity makes you sweat definitely. You know, I'll check in when I get nearer the top. So I saw this marked on the map. I didn't know there was a train service. Obviously it's not been here for some time. There's a train track staying the other way. That's where I'm heading, up the hill there to the left. There you can see this is also a cycle route 80. We got it a bit wrong yesterday. I mean, it was quite nice, but we ended up on some really poor tracks yesterday when we were out cycling. Anyway, I'll keep going now. I thought that was just an interesting diversion. So that's the 5k up. Just had a bit of a climb there. Taking it nice and easy because it is so humid. So a quick note on the coronavirus situation here. So the infections definitely kind of took a step down last week, but they've kind of levelled off, and it's running still just below 20 per 100,000. So that's about half the rate that it was about a month ago, certainly 4 weeks ago. Now the UK has seen a slight increase, and this is principally due to the Delta variant. It was the one first noted in India, and that's increased, actually created big infection spikes in a couple of places. So Bolton in the northwest, just to the north of Manchester, that's definitely had a big infection outbreak, and then kind of lesser ones in a couple of areas like Kirklees, not actually in Leeds itself but to the west of Leeds, and Bedford. I think the odd cases in West London, but despite the fact they've had massive increases there, at the moment it looks reasonably contained, although people can move about. I think it seems like a lot of people have been sensible and they've accelerated the vaccine programme in that area. In fact, in West London, Twickenham Stadium, the England Rugby Stadium, they turn that into a temporary vaccine centre, get people from that area vaccinated. And you can see it's principally in the young, so you haven't seen that increasing admissions really, very slight wobbling. So that does mean UK's in the last 2 weeks has gone from 3 per 100,000 to almost 5 per 100,000. But if you think that's still a quarter the rate it is in the Netherlands, and the UK has just taken Portugal off the green list. I know Portugal are very unhappy with that decision. The green list means that you can travel to Portugal with either your vaccine certificate or with a negative PCR test. Then when you come back to the UK, you just have to do 2 PCR tests, one before you get on the flight or within 72 hours, and that has to be negative, and then you order another one after 2 days once you're in the UK, but you don't have to quarantine. So they've been taken off the green list. But to be honest, their infection rates were much, much higher than the UK, so that was always a potential risk. People mixing. However, having said that, it's very much an outdoors society at this time of year particularly, so I think the risks were probably lower. Anyway, so that's the situation on coronavirus. The rates of vaccination here, Germany, France have all steadily increased. Here they've got to 1 vaccination for at least 50% of the adult population. Compare that with the UK, it's so far ahead. They've got 50% of the adult population now with both doses of the vaccine. Anyway, coming near to the top, so somewhere around here I should be hitting a balmy altitude of 90 metres. Don't mock it, I miss the hills, even if they are little ones here. So here I am, I've actually reached the border, so I just came from that direction. I saw some deer in the woods, little deer. And this basically is the German-Dutch border. So this side is the Netherlands. And then if I walk over here and cross over, I am technically in Germany now. So I'm going to run along this road for about 1 kilometre. So I'm going to be following the border, and it kind of weaves around what looks to be the technical border. I mean, officially I shouldn't be going into Germany without a negative PCR test and registering with the authorities at the moment, as they've got restrictions on Dutch residents going in. But I'm sure they won't mind. I'm quite away from any habitation here. So yeah, so I'm about halfway, about 7 kilometres in, so I've got about 7 kilometres to go. So I'll do 1 kilometre down here along this trail, and then I'm going to take a left turn and just dive straight back into Herkenbosch. So that should take me, I don't know, about 45 minutes or something like that now. So there we go. So hot and bothered at the top, but I made it. I'm now going to run along, do a bit of international running. There we go. Okay, so that's the first German sign I've actually seen on this left-hand side, this eastward side. So obviously indicating this is a nature area, and there's obviously a path down into Germany. So I'm going to carry on along this border road. You can actually see this marker. We spotted some of these yesterday. I'm wondering whether these are marking the border officially. So that's number 387. Don't see any other markings. So yeah, so I'm just over halfway. So I'm just going to, and now it's all downhill. So it's quite nice really. So it's very, very humid, and the temperature's starting to increase now, but it's been a really nice run. It's lovely just to be in all this, not hear a car for an hour, over an hour. I've got another kind of 3/4 of an hour to go. It's lovely. So I'm just coming out the park now, 12 kilometres. There's that park entrance I think I showed you the other day. There's the wild rooster, just warning you about the cattle grid there. And these, you can probably guess, are asparagus troughs here. So really big on asparagus. I think well, I've probably had asparagus if you have a 3-course meal, you're probably going to have asparagus 4 times. So it's a bit like that. It's lovely, mind you. It's white and green asparagus. Of course, it's big on white asparagus at the moment. So I've had some lovely soups and salads and risotto and things like that. So it's actually been a full-on asparagus weekend. I won't go into that any more graphically. We all know what happens after you've eaten asparagus. So anyway, so another 2k to go, pretty much home. Lovely run. Here I can go along, there is a trail, and then I can dive into the woods in a moment. I've just got to run alongside the road just for a little while anyway. But you can see the sun's coming up, so it's starting to get a bit hot now. As I say, today it's due to get up to 28, I think it was. But it's much more humid than it was 2 days ago because of the thunderstorms that came through yesterday. So it's going to be pretty well already. It's already giving me problems seeing, actually, with sweat dripping in my eyes. So I'll keep going, and that'll keep it out of my eyes. Anyway, it's been a lovely run, lovely morning. Go back and get some breakfast now.